Hi, I'm MacDonald. Welcome to the video tour for Enter the Matrix. As many of you probably know, Enter the Matrix is a companion to the film Matrix Reloaded. The game tells an alternate storyline that takes place during the same points the sequence is seen in the film. Enter the Matrix is a fairly standard action game that allows you to play as two different characters. Niobe, who is of course Jada Pinkett Smith's character from the film, as well as Ghost, who's played by Anthony Wong. You'll find that each character's storyline and gameplay elements vary differently depending on sequence to sequence. The major differences in gameplay is the driving sequences. And as Niobe, you will actually drive the car and have the ability to press a button that kind of pops Ghost out on top of the roof with a weapon, allowing him to give you kind of some cover fire as you try to reach your destination in the vehicle. If you decide at the beginning of the game to play as Ghost, those same sequences are there. The only difference is you actually don't drive the car. Instead, you are the gunner and simply gun down the enemies who are chasing after your vehicle. In the one level that features a flying sequence involving the Logos, this is also the same case. As playing the game as Niobe, when you reach that level, you will actually fly the Logos. Although if you decide to start the game off as Ghost and reach that level, you will get to that sequence and simply be a gunner. The interesting thing about Enter the Matrix is how the storylines between the two characters and, of course, the characters from the film intertwine. For instance, in one of the sequences, Ghost enters a training simulation in which he actually faces off against Trinity. The interesting thing here is you actually would never see the sequence if you just played the game through as Niobe. Of course, one of the big draws of Enter the Matrix is the FMV that's featured in the game. There's right around 50 minutes worth of FMV that was shot exclusively for the game that tells an alternate storyline that's kind of a companion to the movie The Matrix Reloaded. What's more is while the two different characters have different gameplay sequences and go through different levels in some portions of the game, some of the FMV is actually different as well. One sequence might be identical to the other, with the only difference being slight variations in dialogue and, of course, it being either Niobe or Ghost. As you can see in this sequence, Monica Bellucci, who of course is meeting in the movie with Neo at one point, is also meeting in the game with not only Jada Pinkett Smith if you're playing as Niobe, but also Anthony Wong if you're playing as Ghost. The three distinct gameplay types in Enter the Matrix are action combat sequences, which are basically hand-to-hand and shooting sequences. Then there's of course the driving sequences, followed by one level of flying in the ship, the Logos. The majority of the time you spend playing Enter the Matrix is spent running through the game's 3D levels, fighting security guards, agents on occasion, as well as other enemies such as vampires, which were only hinted at in the film, but are explored a great deal in the game. Your time is basically spent fighting against these people, as well as collecting and moving your way through the 3D environments. The hand-to-hand combat is fairly simple. You have a punch button, you have a kick button, you have a jump button, and of course the focus button. The focus button allows you to slow down time so that you can more easily escape your enemy opponents as well as dodge bullets. Basically, just by repeatedly hitting punch or kick, you can string different combinations together. If you activate the focus button while you're using either of these buttons, you'll see that certain things will happen depending on your environment. For instance, if you're near a wall, if you hit the kick button, Niobe or Ghost might actually run up and jump off the wall and deliver a kick after pushing off the wall. So the focus button definitely is a contact-sensitive action button that allows you to do some fun stuff that you might not see otherwise. Enter the Matrix, of course, wouldn't be complete without gunplay, and there's a whole bevy of guns that you can collect in the game. Everything from MP5s to sniper rifles, but they all break down into very distinct weapon classes. There's a shotgun, there's pistols, there's a sniper rifle, there's automatic weapons, as well as submachine guns. Like I said, there's different types of pistols, there's different types of machine guns. You can have one in each hand. There's all kinds of different stuff you can pick up in the game. And while there's different types that'll help you in certain situations, for instance, if you're going up against a whole slew of SWAT team officers, the shotgun works fairly effectively there, so that you can knock them down quickly and disarm them, which of course is one of the other gameplay features. In addition to being able to punch and kick your opponent as well as shoot them, you can simply disarm them or throw them. If you hit the disarm button, you'll see your character reach out, grab the weapon or the arm, do some fancy move, and basically take the gun away from them. By simply hitting two buttons at the same time, you can actually reach out and grab your opponent and throw them. The controls in the 3D action portion of Enter the Matrix give you the option to enter a first-person mode. Not only so you can look around your environment and see the things around you, but also so that you can target enemies with either your sniper rifle or actually any firearms, so that you can better, take aim and hit enemies from afar. One of the options available to you at the game's title screen is the hacking option, which is basically a little mini game that's kind of like a logic puzzle. You have to kind of figure out which one leads the next. So for instance, you would type in, help directory, and that would list, tell you kind of what the first step is. And then from there, you kind of branch out further and further until you basically would be hacking out this, this computer. There's some fun stuff you can do with it. There's some storyline information that comes through it, but for the most part, it's a neat way to enter cheat codes as well as view some of the images that are hidden in the game, such as artwork and some bio information. And of course, if you'd like to view the FMV that's included in Enter the Matrix, there's a way to do that through the hacking method as well.
Damn, not who I was hoping for.
There is one interesting thing that comes out of hacking the Matrix, and that, of course, is it gives you the ability to see the maps of the levels. Aside from seeing the maps of the levels, you can also drop weapons throughout the levels, so you can kind of make it a little easier for yourself the next time you went through the game. In addition to that, you'll come across Trinity in the hacking portion of the game and be able to get some help from her. One of the things that she'll be able to activate for you is a sword. This sword is, for the most part, pretty much a cheat to a certain extent, which basically changes your throw animation to an animation that features a sword, as you can see here. Of course, another thing that you'll find through cheat codes, there's tons of cheat codes for Enter the Matrix. There's stuff that, infinite ammo, infinite health, low gravity, all kinds of fun stuff in the game, as well as like a little taxi minigame thing that's kind of cool to check out. But as you've probably seen behind me here, there's a multiplayer game. There's actually a two-player fighting game hidden within Enter the Matrix that you can find cheat codes for. And while there's only a certain number of levels you can play on, there are multiple different characters that you can play on those levels as. While it's unfortunate there's no character select screen, and simply the character selection is only based on the level that you're selecting, there are characters such as Morpheus, Agent Smith, Vlad, Cujo, Ballard, Sephiroth, as well as a comical pair that's the sewing woman and the janitor, which are just two background characters featured in Enter the Matrix. Of course, Enter the Matrix is available for PC, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. So one of the questions a lot of people ask is, what are the differences between the different versions? There's really no difference as far as the design and the gameplay. But for the most part, the differences between the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube versions are the PlayStation 2 has a little bit of frame rate issues, as well as the PC version. And then aside from that, basically the controls, just the physical controllers themselves.
Oh, when? When will it end?